Hi. I'm Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les.
And I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
And this is episode 3.
Of the Knit Girls.
Video cast. And we want to start by thanking Karen at Round the Twist. That seems to be where a lot of our newest viewers found us, so thank you, Karen. She mentioned
us, thank you.
We appreciate it very much, and we're reciprocating by mentioning you. Hopefully our 10 people will hop on your bandwagon as well and start watching your video cast. I am going back from the very beginning and watching all of the old ones, and I think I'm up to like 10 or 11.
I started listening to Karen when she was on Lime and Violet.
I never knew about Lime and Violet. I am the black sheep of the knitting world, no pun intended. So I'm still trying to catch up on that stuff. So thank you, Karen. And we're going to try not to chatter quite as much as we did the last time because 5 segments is a little bit much, although we appreciate all the positive feedback that we got. Before we get started, I wanted to mention a project that a friend of ours on Plurk, Amelia Bella / Melissa, who is Keegan Lane Yarns. She and her husband, I think, run that yarn line, and they are working on getting some helmet liners knit for a group of 100 soldiers that are going to Afghanistan. I will link that in the show notes, and we're going to go ahead.
So if you have some spare superwash wool and like a brown, they have all these requirements.
It can only be like one of 3 colors because you don't want the soldiers in bright orange and all that. So I'll link
in colors.
I'll link her blog down in the show notes, and you can read all about it there if you want to help out. Great. We're going to move right along to finished objects. I'm going to go first because I have one tiny thing. I have this little keychain that I got. I think I got it at the Loopy U. My first Spring Fling, and you knit little socks to go on it. And so I knit this one, which was out of Woolmaza in a very unpronounceable V word that translates into forget-me-nots, which is a pretty blue, but it actually has started fraying on the back. And has.
You knit that over a year ago, right?
Yeah, it's been almost 2, because I knit it as soon as I got home from the first fling and had my little thing. So last night, I decided I needed at least one thing for a finished object, damn it. So I knit another sock. And it's out of Perfect Day Yarns, Bamboo Haiku, in the Wake colorway.
That's the same thing you're using for your knee highs.
Right. I happened to have it on hand, and I was like, you know, I'm feeling pink today, so I'm just going to go ahead. That's my finished object. I know it's overwhelming, and we're going to move on to Laura's finished objects now.
I have finished objects. I have finished objects. I have the socks that I mentioned last week as being done. They've been blocked. These are, there's the second one, together. These are Yarn Pirate Mermaid colorway in the Wendy Knits Toe-Up pattern Waterfall, and I love them, and I'm holding off wearing them until the fling because I want them to look fresh and clean and nice.
She's saving.
I'm saving them.
I have to actually wash and reblock all my socks for the fling.
I don't know what socks I'm packing yet. I know what shawls I'm packing, but not what socks. And this is one of the shawls that I'm packing. Do I have that right side out? I do.
Yes.
That is the Lady Bertram, and I love the little points. They're my favorite part. I put a pin on each of those and made the little
painstakingly did that points. Because I still possess her lace blocking wires from when I did something. I don't remember what.
Leslie's a thief.
I am a dirty thief. But, so she actually hand pinned that out. But it is hand spun and it's beautiful.
And I love it. And my mom couldn't even tell it was hand spun.
Really?
Which is saying something for my mom.
Yeah, she's quite a pro.
So, those are my 2 finished objects. And I'm happy. And they are both going to the fling. So if you will be at the fling, you will see them in person.
Mm-hmm. Yay! And if you're not, hey, you still got to see them here, right?
And you might see them in person someplace else. You never know
you're
where
going
I'll
to
pop
TNNA.
Up. Or I'll be in Michigan this summer with family
on the beach, so if some random knitter comes up and was like, I saw that!
Yeah. Just randomly.
So those are our finished objects. Moving on to work in progress. Why don't you go first for the works in progress?
Well, I have one right now. They're the monkey socks. And it's actually a no purl version of the monkeys that Crafty Pancakes adapted. So when you look at the monkey chart, which you can find on knitty.com.
It's a free pattern.
It's a free pattern. There's this chart, and instead of purling the pearls, you just knit the pearls.
It gives it a nice sort of woven look.
Yeah, and I'm lazy. So there's that.
Miss Anti-Pearl over here.
So, There it is, all spread out. I just started the first repeat of the actual pattern, and there's that 1 by 1 pretty
twisted rib,
which I love.
And it's a perfect day yarn, right?
It is. It's last year at Fling, Sarah and I and a bunch of other people met a gentleman named Oliver who is British and was hanging out when we were sitting in the lobby of the hotel knitting. And
when I had walked around, though, that was the year before.
And he was just fascinated by Sarah's. She had stripy socks that she had dyed. And Sarah doesn't do stripes very often because she says they're a pain.
I believe that, too.
And I totally believe that. So she dyed this yarn in honor of him. And it's when I unwound the skein, it was like half red, half pink. And it's striping, actually. It's doing little mini stripes.
Yeah, I'm digging that. I wish I had gotten a skein of that.
And it's her cashmere blend, which is very nice. And I'm knitting it with the signature needles, just because I don't use my signature needles a lot enough to justify them. So I'm like, I'm going to use them on this. And I would think that because they're so sharp, that it'd be easy to split the yarn, and it's not splitting at all. It's being very nice and welcoming and joyful in every way.
She just had to throw in that she's using her signature. What else? You got more.
Oh, I do have. Oh, no, I don't. Because the hypotenuse is in timeout.
Yeah.
The hypotenuse shawl, stole, whatever it is.
The one we showed last week with the Noro.
Yeah, so I got 45 inches in, which was the 9th repeat done, and I shoved it in the 4 skeins of the yarn that I had left in a bag and put it in timeout in the corner.
So that's not going to make an appearance at the Fling.
No, and I'm wearing my fail shirt in honor of my hypotenuse.
The cow tried to jump over the moon.
He tried to. He just wasn't successful. It's a great pattern. The Noro yarn and I are getting into a disagreement. What's happening is, as I'm knitting it, when I knit later, you'll be able to see I put my yarn through my fingers, tension it, and the little twigs and stuff are getting down in my finger cracks, and it's just really irritating
Finger cracks sounds kind of dirty.
It does.
Okay, anyway, and you're still working on your toe-up socks.
Yeah, those are my school project. I forgot my school project like 3 times this week, and so I was very sad. Very little knitting got done at school. And so they're staying at school as a reminder for me to have something to knit while I'm there.
Yeah. Because she's typically got a project in every, one that sits in her car, one that she knits on at the yarn shop, one that she works on at school, and I wish that I could be quite like that, but I just can't. It makes me nervous and itchy when I got too much going on.
I think that just working on the hypotenuse, because once I finished the Lady Bertram on Tuesday and had it blocking, that was the only thing that I was working on, and I think I got so mad at it because I'm not used to being monogamous.
Tied down.
And it felt like a weight was on me, and I was just putting it off and trying to, I spun rather than knit, or
you're avoiding it.
I organized my stash rather than knit.
Now, the day that she takes pictures and puts all of her stash up on Ravelry, then you know she's avoiding something, because that girl's got, almost none of her stuff is actually in Ravelry. And I try to make a point to...
Well, there's a new feature on Ravelry where you can link what you're queuing with yarn that you already have in your stash.
So if you add 3 skeins of Madeline Tosh DK to your stash, you can say, I'm going to use it for Amara shawl, and link it right then. So when you go back and look at it later, you'll remember, I was going to do that with it, even if you decide to change your mind.